I treated Lily like a dog for 7 years, and when I was about to propose to her, she found a new love. It turns out that she didn't dislike poor boys, she just didn't like me. Dogs also have dignity, and I choose to break up cleanly. Later, she cried and begged me for forgiveness, saying that her new love was just like my old self. Many people know that I like Lily. Like a dog smelling meat, I have followed her for 7 years. In the 7th year, when everyone accepted me licking Lily, I chose to break up. It was just because I ran happily to her dormitory, still panting, and saw her sitting on the back of the bicycle with her arms around the man's waist. Like many other mornings, it felt so familiar. Like any other college couple, the two of them hummed a song and slowly disappeared on Wudong Avenue. Just like we used to be. The early spring sycamore trees are green and fluffy, and my eyes itch to tears. The message in my hand is still stuck on her reply. I'm a bit busy, I'll contact you later. Last night, my partner's project was confirmed to have successfully raised funds, so I rushed back overnight with great expectations. I, who had nothing, was about to give her a grand future. But I was working hard to plan our future here, and she was living happily with someone else over there. Her arms around the man's waist were like dominoes falling at the starting point, instantly destroying my love for her. I endured the stomachache and went to the teaching building to wait for her. She was stunned when she saw me. She didn't show any surprise at seeing her lover. Instead, she looked impatient and surprised. Why are you here? You've been able to show up whenever you wanted over the past year, which is really amazing. She was admitted to our school as a graduate student in her second attempt, and I was admitted to graduate school as an undergraduate and graduated 1 year earlier than her. I started a business in a different place with my classmate before I graduated. We didn't see each other much in the past year or so. She was upset for a long time because I couldn't be by her side to take care of her in every detail. Lily, aren't you going to ask me? I asked carefully. How I wish she would ask me why I came, why I looked so haggard, and how my work was going. She looked at me anxiously and said, why ask? You can disappear if you want to when you are busy. She still disappointed me. I said bluntly, I saw you sitting on the back of James's bicycle today. She looked a little flustered, and then said confidently, why do you like to imagine so much? He was just passing by me. I said sarcastically, would you like to touch my face as well? Hearing this, her face flushed, her lips chattered, and she reluctantly said, don't be so dirty. It was just an accidental physical contact. He is my senior brother, okay? The more guilty she feels, the more she will speak without restraint. Unlike you who is always invisible, he helped me a lot in the lab. Even when explaining my mistakes, I still ridicule my shortcomings. There is a slight chill in early spring, and the breeze rushes into my chest. I came here with full of enthusiasm and sincerity, but now I feel like I am in an ice cellar. I suppressed my trembling voice and said in a deep voice, Lily, let's break up. I also thought, as long as she is willing to keep me this time, even if I am discouraged, as long as she is willing to think about me for once. Lily's surprise was fleeting, and she laughed angrily. Huh, you're just because I sat on someone else's bike? Yes. My throat became tighter. She raised her eyebrows and sneered. Okay, but remember, it's me who wants to break up. Lily, will never go back. Jason, you are poor, inferior, competitive, and you are either studying or working. You don't understand me at all. You are good for nothing except being nice to me. What's more, you are so busy that you are not around me anymore. You don't even have the only advantage. I spoke word by word, afraid that I would cry if I spoke too fast. So, you like James, a rich man, class equality? She was stunned for a moment, but didn't respond. Maybe the fluff of the sycamore tree fell into my eyes, and my eyes felt hot and sore. I smiled bitterly and turned away. My hands were in my pockets, tightly clutching the velvet jewelry box containing the diamond ring. I hadn't had the chance to show her the future I had drawn, but there was no need to. She angrily threw all the books to the ground behind him. Yes, Jason couldn't turn around and leave in front of Lily. But I was also pushed to this point. When I was in my 3rd year of high school, I cried secretly when I received the news that my parents were divorcing. She stood under the streetlight in the playground and comforted me. Jason, don't be sad. The college entrance examination is coming soon. You have to cheer up. When people are in adversity, they can fall with just one sentence. I had a crush on the beautiful, flamboyant, and unattainable Lily. My eyes never lied. At that time, her good friend Sophie said that I, a nerd, had a crush on her. They even laughed at me and called me a dog licker. But I don't care. I deliberately chose a university in the same city as Lily. When I was a freshman in college, she announced to her friends that she was in a relationship. I could only find excuses to go to her school every week and pretend to meet her by chance. My love for her is like a tree, waiting quietly, growing madly, and flourishing wildly. In every dream of mine, I fantasize safely and arrogantly that she and I are in love. It wasn't until my sophomore year that Lily came to my school to visit me for the first time. She said she had just been dumped by her boyfriend. On a cold winter night, under the few scattered street lights on the school's boulevard, I walked her back to school. She was petite, but she naturally and without question took my arm, smiled with big eyes, and said, "You should like me." The place on my arm where I was touched felt like it was burning, and I could only stare at her like a log. She is my dream, even though I know she is with me out of spite after a breakup. But I don't care about my pitiful self-esteem. I'm just worried that a poor boy like me is not worthy of her. Later, when I didn't have classes, I would go to see her, save a seat for her, and get her food. During her second attempt at the postgraduate entrance examination, I cooked, washed clothes, and cleaned for her. Apart from studying, she is the only one for me. I often tell myself that I am not licking her without any bottom line. Because even though Lily knew about my broken family, my difficulties, and inferiority, she still accepted me as a person. Her family is wealthy and complete, and she has everything she needs, but she is willing to have me by her side, which is a gift. My love is climbing high and high, covering my entire heart with its thick and dense texture. In my senior year, she finally whispered to others that I was her boyfriend, and I finally went from being a bootlicker to being her regular boyfriend. I thought at that time that it was enough for someone like me to follow her closely. It was not until I met her parents that I realized that to maintain this dream, it is not enough to just give recklessly, but also to strive higher and prove one's own excellence. But after all, dreams are just dreams. Even if I do it, I still have to wake up from the dream. When I woke up, the ceiling light in the hospital was dim, which was uncomfortable. "You are really amazing. You are still on the road, even though you have gastric bleeding." Senior sister Chloe sat next to me and sneered. I laughed bitterly. "Why do I trouble you?" Chloe has straight black hair and a pair of frameless glasses, and she looks as cool and clear as a stream. She said, "You fainted on the way to school. I called your girlfriend, but she didn't answer, so I had to call her. Luckily, I happened to be in Hutching discussing cooperation with my mentor, so I rushed over. She has a good family background, a good brain, and does things rationally and methodically. I started my own business the year before last, before I graduated. It was a project set up by Chloe, who had just graduated. The company we established was responsible for small module technology projects. She was in charge of marketing and outreach, and I was in charge of technology. More than a year later, the project was finally finalized the night before yesterday. This is also the reason why I went to see Lily overnight. The project raised 50 million yuan. I can give her a bright future, and I want to propose to her. I was eager to see the admiration in her eyes that I had never seen before. Chloe lowered her eyes and stared at me, saying guiltily, "I'm sorry, I pushed the project too hard, and you worked nonstop for the last 3 months, which is why you have health problems." I laughed at myself and said with difficulty, "Maybe it's because I was too sad about the breakup, so I didn't cry and my stomach started bleeding." The surprise in her eyes quickly calmed down, and then she said, "Ah, that's fine too." I endured the severe pain in my stomach and said with a smile, "Senior sister, you are so mean." I got dumped. Chloe adjusted her glasses, unable to hide the flames in her eyes, and said, "But you succeeded in starting a business." "We succeeded. Not loving your girlfriend is nothing compared to this." I was stunned. She realized that she had said the wrong thing and left quickly, making an excuse to go see a doctor. I burst out laughing. It turned out that she also knew that Lily didn't love me. At this moment, Lily called. My fingers couldn't help but tremble. I felt wildly happy and cursed myself in my heart for having no bottom line. I answered the phone excitedly and was met with a barrage of sarcasm from her. "Jason, you left last night and you still called me so many times? Do you know that you like to daydream too much? There is nothing wrong between me and my brother." Finally, she lowered her attitude a little and said, "If you come and apologize now, I will consider forgiving you." She was both arrogant and guilty, but she showed no concern or apology towards me. My stomach twisted and cramped and I hung up the phone. At this time, the nurse came over and scolded, "Hey, you patient, your condition is so serious, and you are still calling." I curled up in pain, cold sweat covering my back. Chloe took care of me during my 1-week hospital stay, and we mostly just chatted about work. There was no more call from Lily on my phone. When I calm down and see the sycamore leaves outside the house and the clouds in the sky, I will think of Lily. It's not that these things are related to Lily, but I can't help but miss her. As I thought about it, I unconsciously covered my eyes with my palms, feeling the hot flashes and shame. Over and over again, time and time again, the mind is filled with pain and helplessness, accompanied by extreme physical suffering. I'm discharged from the hospital and don't plan to go back to Jiangxing. Chloe has already agreed on a collaboration with her supervisor and packaged the project as an in-depth collaboration with the Advanced Laboratory of 985 Rongda University. While leveraging technology, we also leverage our connections and marketing. It's a perfect partnership with her, and I only need to focus on the technical procedures that I am good at. For the next cooperation with the laboratory, I will be here at least for the first half of the year to ensure the smooth running of the project. Chloe arranged a luxury apartment for me. Coincidentally, Lily once rented here. She said, "Jason, the rent here is 8,000 a month." For someone like me who relies on scholarships, that was an astronomical figure. I could only laugh at her and felt that I would never be worthy of her. Now that I live here, I always think of the cramped environment I felt back then. It turns out that the damage is irreparable, and making amends many years later is still useless. When the cooperation project officially started, the school specially invited me, an outstanding graduate of the previous year, to give a speech. I have been at Rongda for 6 years, received many scholarships and honors, and most importantly, brought an industry-focused technology project to my alma mater. Rongda and I complement each other and give each other enough face. The auditorium, which can hold 100 people, was packed. This project has a very good effect in the industry and attracted many students. I wore the suit that Chloe had picked out for me, stood in front of the screen straight and proper, and talked naturally and freely. Those are the things I have memorized day and night, and they come out of my mouth fluently, with leaps of thought and logical loops. The tutors in the class are appreciative and approving, and the students are worshiping and admiring. At the end, there was thunderous applause. Amid the cheers of the crowd, I felt a moment of inner peace. After chasing Lily for so many years, I have never felt so sure of myself as I do now. Just as I turned around happily to leave the stage, I caught a glimpse of Lily sitting in the corner. Her bright face was a little pale, and her eyes showed surprise and joy. Over the years, she has never understood me and has never attended any of my events. She didn't expect that I could be so cheerful and calm in front of so many people. She always thought I was a programmer who was not good at speaking, not presentable, and couldn't even speak clearly. That's just because I love her too much and am too cautious. In her eyes, I saw the appreciation and admiration that I had been waiting for 7 years. After the meeting, Lily came over and said gently, "Jason, I didn't expect you to be so good. Why didn't you tell me about your successful project? I didn't even know you were working in this direction." I laughed out loud. When I decided to start my own business, I called her at night to talk about my ideals and expectations. She just said listlessly, "I'm very sleepy, Jason. When you succeed, tell me again, okay?" Now Lily looks at me with light in her eyes, so delicate and cute, which is my favorite look. "Jason, can we go get a drink together?" I couldn't help choking in my throat, afraid that I would have to agree. At least now, I still love her. My project assistant Wang Yun sneered. "Didn't you break up 2 months ago? Where were you when Brother Chung was in the hospital with gastric bleeding? You were even drinking." Surprise and astonishment flashed across her face, and she whispered, "I don't know. Jason, you didn't tell me. I thought you were just starting a business for fun, but I didn't expect the work pressure to be so great." All the love seemed ridiculous when she looked down on me. The hesitation in my heart disappeared, and I sneered, because I was in the hospital with gastric bleeding and the pain was so severe that I couldn't speak. Wang Yun also emphasized, that was the period when the project had just been confirmed to have been successfully financed. She froze there. I shook my head and walked out with Wang Yun. She whispered in grievance, "You never treated me like this before. I just wanted to be with you before, but now I don't." Before leaving, I looked at James, who was standing behind me, and said, "In the future, I will be in charge of the Morning Fire project in cooperation with your laboratory. I am also half of your boss." He was surprised and looked extremely embarrassed. Teacher Liu cared a lot about this project. He was now pursuing a doctorate degree, so he would inevitably suffer on this project in the future. According to the established plan, the company cooperated with Rongda in research and development. Lily is also in the cooperative laboratory. I know Lily's professional ability. It was because of my tutoring day and night that she was able to be admitted to graduate school, and I helped her prepare materials for the interview and communicate with the tutor. Publicly, I am not happy with her appearance. Personally, I am not satisfied. Her eyes gradually followed me. James pretended nothing happened and approached me in a familiar way, showing his adaptability. Therefore, no one in the laboratory dared to ask him to do anything. But I will not let go of any laborer. I often ask him to do all the field work, visiting the hospital, and coordination work. The scorching sun in Huching also makes him suffer a little. As early summer approaches, the sycamore trees outside rustle with the slightly hot wind. At night, I didn't realize it was very late. I looked up. Lily and I were the only ones in the lab, and it was pitch black through the window. She sat quietly at the last table, staring at me. Seeing me raise my head, she propped up her chin, her eyes curved like big moons, and smiled gently. "Jason, does it look like you were doing experiments with me in the lab?" I could hear the rustling of leaves outside the window, the occasional laughter of passing students, and the incandescent light made my eyes blurry. In the past, she always had trouble working out the data, so I would help her keep an eye on the data in front of the DDL while she would rest comfortably beside me. I enjoyed it very much, because at that time it seemed as if the world only consisted of me and her. She depended on me, praised me, and she was mine alone. She slowly stood up and came to my side, smelling of her old sweet perfume. Like many times before, he handed me a sandwich from the cafeteria canteen and said, "Didn't you say you were hospitalized for gastric bleeding? Eat something." In the past, I was happy as long as she gave me something. Wang Yun came in noisily. "Hey, Brother Chung, Sister Chen asked me to bring you Funglo's crab porridge, saying that you were hospitalized some time ago, and you need to take care of your stomach." Lily glanced at the exquisitely packaged porridge and asked unhappily, Jason, don't you want to drink porridge? I lowered my head and continued to look at the data, pretending to be indifferent, and said, I didn't drink before because you didn't like it. Wang Yun quickly replied, who said no? Brother Chung likes hot porridge the most. It's better than the sandwich you bought for a few dollars. Lily watched me open the porridge package layer by layer and drink it slowly, but did not help her. She was so angry that she threw the sandwich into the trash can. I used the bowl to cover the smile that appeared unconsciously on my mouth. Maybe she finally knew how to cherish me. Once people have hope, they will most likely be faced with overwhelming despair. I met Lily and James in the garden downstairs of the apartment building, feeling a little relieved about Lily's evening. Lily sobbed softly, and James gently wiped the tears from her cheeks. Memory seemed to open up my yin and do meridians, and I suddenly remembered that last year Lily and the laboratory went on a business trip out of town, and I was hit by a car and broke my bones, and I couldn't contact her no matter what. The next day, she called me back and said that she had dinner and watched a movie with a boy. She admitted that she felt moved, but because she was thinking of me, she didn't cross the line. I was so humble that I accepted her honesty. After all, she was thinking of me. Finally, I told her, Lily, I was hit by a car, and I was hurt. She said, is that so? Then take good care of yourself out there. Even though I feel heartbroken, I still humbly tolerate her inconsideration. Now I know, that boy must be James. Her honesty was just a cover-up for guilt, a test of my bottom line, or even just a lie. I looked at them quietly, laughing at my own rekindled self-conceit. How could Lily change so easily? Like a cheap cafeteria sandwich that had just been thrown away, she always treated me, a bargain, as she pleased. When Lily saw me, she hastily pushed James away. A momentary look of joy appeared on her face, but then it disappeared. He walked over slowly, pretending to be calm, and said, You came to see me? The tips of her ears were a little red, and she actually showed a little bit of indescribable expectation for me. Before I could say anything, James came up to me and asked, Didn't you break up with Lily? What are you doing here? I frowned. Lily? A third man is also acting like a real lady? Lily frowned and glanced at James, not very happy about what he said, then raised her head to me as usual and said, Jason, are you here to see me? I asked back, Didn't you tell me that you would live in the dormitory after school? I glanced at the utility bill in James's hand. When I was in the hospital and chatting with Chloe, I found out that it was Chloe who was the mentor whom James helped me with. James' family is very poor. When he first entered the school, Chloe helped him a lot. Later, he learned how to package himself. On the surface, he looked talented and came from a wealthy family. I laughed at myself at the time. It turned out that she didn't dislike poor boys, she just didn't like me. I sneered. Lily, did you rent it to James? As if she was guessed, a trace of embarrassment flashed in her eyes, and she hurriedly explained, Of course not. I just helped to advance the payment. James stood in front of her and said arrogantly, This has nothing to do with you. I hope you don't appear in Lily's life in the future. He is different from me. He was very smooth and sophisticated, and at this moment he just puffed out his chest like a hero. But I caught a glimpse of Lily behind me, frowning in annoyance, dissatisfied with James's presumptuous action. What kind of thing does she like? I stood up straight and looked down at them and said calmly, This apartment is not yours either. You might consider not showing up in front of me. I took a few deep breaths, and my chest still felt a bit painful. It's inevitable after all these years. The next day, as soon as I entered the laboratory, I saw Lily with a red face and tears. Chloe's face turned even darker. Lily, it's fine if you submitted your data late. You still have so many problems. If you don't want to do this anymore, find someone else. Chloe followed Lily's gaze. I can't argue with my community of interests, Chloe, for my ex-girlfriend. I nodded to Chloe and said approvingly, Thanks for checking the data for me. It was clearly agreed that I would manage the technical aspects. Chloe was very satisfied with my clarity of purpose, so she softened her attitude, threw the materials to Lily, and instructed, Redo the data today, and make sure it is foolproof. Lily Chen's eyes were red. I used to help her with experimental data, and I had never been criticized for low-level mistakes. Even when I wasn't around, she still relied on her familiarity with James to get away with it. This was the first time I was scolded in public. During lunch break, I drank coffee and rested in the woods. James, you don't even dare to say anything when Chloe said that to me. Lily questioned James not far away. James frowned and said, Lily, it's normal to be scolded when you do something wrong. Lily's face turned red instantly. In the 5 years that I have been with her, I never talked back when she got angry. I always listened, coaxed, and obeyed her. It was the first time she was told that, and she was tongue-tied. James, you don't even protect me. What's the point of being with you? You have no money and your academic performance is not as good as Jason's, and you dare say that to me. James couldn't stand it any longer. Lily, let's be clear. When Jason was away, you were the one who couldn't stand the loneliness. Besides, you never acknowledged our relationship. Lily is still the same. She arrogantly thought that she could be with James, but she couldn't let others know. just like I had been dating her for 2 years before she reluctantly called me her boyfriend to others. Before, I was just a dog following behind, so it's no wonder that Sophie and the others looked down on me. The days that followed in the laboratory were turbulent, until the arrival of Lily's parents disrupted the apparent calm. During lunch break, there were guests in my office. They were Lily's parents. They were well-dressed, and in the 5 years we've been together, I've only met her parents once. When she first met me at dinner, her father said directly, "You should break up with Lily and stop wasting each other's time. Do you think my daughter is a student now, silly, and thinks it is love just because she is being pestered by a little tail all day? This kind of cheap courtship behavior is only for college students. Like a dog, without any manly dignity." Lily just lowered her head and sat obediently aside, not daring to say a word. I was kicked out of the hotel room that day and walked for a long time under the scorching sun. The scorching sun burned every inch of my skin. Under the extreme physical sensation, I slowly picked up my self-esteem that was shattered to the ground. I have always been a cautious person, so I immediately agreed to Chloe's entrepreneurial plan over the phone and took the risk without hesitation. Ming, I just want a stable job after graduation, cook and take a walk with Lily after get off work, and spend a happy and ordinary life. But I want to fill the gap between Lily and me, and I want to give her a happy future. The funny thing is, she doesn't want that. She wants the downward emotional value that James has, just like how cheap I was before. This time, her father gave me a gentle and polite smile when he saw me. He came forward and patted my shoulder affectionately, praising me. "Jason, young man, I saw your name on the news column at the entrance of Rongda University. You are now successful in starting your own business, which is really glorious." So when Uncle and Aunt came, they wanted to come and see you too. At this time, Lily, who received the message, walked in and shouted, "Dad, Mom, why are you here? Guan came to see you. Hey, why didn't you tell me that Xiaoxia is so successful now? Didn't we say we were together in sophomore year? You're not young anymore. It's time for you to take me home for dinner. You clearly said before that I was like a dog, but now that I've succeeded, should I be taken home?" Lily showed a trace of embarrassment and said, "It's getting late. Let's go eat first. Then why not call Xia to join us?" Lily looked at me expectantly, hoping that I would not interrupt her parents' misunderstanding. But why should I cooperate? I smiled bitterly. "Aunt, Uncle, Lily and I broke up." "Break up? Why? You can't be showing any signs now that you don't want to be with Lily anymore, right?" Her mother even stepped forward, pointed at me, and said, "Hey, young man, you have to understand that our Lily has been with you for so many years, so don't be too unfaithful." Her father acted like a patriarch and said in a deep voice, "Yes, it was you who chased after Lily and clung to her all the time. Now that you have achieved a little success, you have actually forgotten your loyalty for the sake of profit." Her mother continued, Lily, I said it's hard to find a poor boy. Look, you've left me before I even become rich." Their words attracted the people in the laboratory to look in at the door. I immediately interrupted him. "Lily broke up with me because she was with James." Lily blushed, looked at me with pity and resentment, and whispered, "That's not true. He misunderstood me and my senior brother." "What senior brother?" "The one you often mention who is extremely poor but inspiring," her father asked. Her mother noticed Lily's weirdness at first sight, poked her temple, and said, "Are you crazy? Jason has finally made it." "What's that, James? You just like to pick on poor boys, don't you?" James rushed over and immediately pretended to be a good guy to protect Lily, with a look of happiness on his face at seeing the light of day. Lily had been spoiled since she was little, and she was so angry that she shouted back, "You were the ones who said that if I dared to be with Jason, you would break off relations with me." No wonder she never mentioned her parents to me again. Now that I'm not with him anymore, you're disliking me again. Then look at yourself. Look, find something. James could no longer bear it and said in a bad tone, "Please be respectful. I am a serious doctoral student at Rongda University and your daughter." He hurried to get close to me. Lily was shocked by James's careless words. She glanced at me and turned her face away in shame. Her father was just about to show off his power. I immediately and coldly told her parents to leave. "This is my personal office. I think you can go out and mess around. Don't embarrass yourself in front of me, and don't bring any negative impact to my company." Lily's parents were so choked that they were speechless. Seeing so many students looking at the door, they just turned around and left. James seemed to realize his slip of the tongue and pulled Lily after him. I felt relieved. Finally, it was me who drove them away. If I don't love Lily, then who are they to me? Why should they hurt me? At night, when I was tidying up my room, I saw the diamond ring that I had not given away. It cost me as much as 100,000 yuan. Thinking about today's farce, I planned to cancel it. If I kept it before, I still had a glimmer of hope, but keeping it now is like saying, "You are so stupid." When I went to return the diamond ring, I met Lily. It's not surprising. She really likes this store. When I was a student, she liked to take me to have a look when she had nothing to do. She always said to me with a smile, "I am very happy just by looking at these sparkling things." So, I was willing to empty my wallet at that time to buy a diamond with a premium brand. Lily looked listless as she and Sophie were looking at the jewelry in the counter and shopping to relax. When they saw me, they came forward in surprise. In my hand was the ring I was about to hand to the teller. Sophie smiled and walked forward. "Hey, Jason, did you buy jewelry for Lily to ask for a reconciliation?" As he said that, he snatched the ring from my hand. Seeing that I didn't reply, Sophie continued to say to Lily, Lily, what did I say? Jason has been licking for so many years, and now he is back." Lily looked at me with hope in her eyes. Sophie grabbed the ring without saying a word and put it on Lily's ring finger without any error. Lily's porcelain white face instantly turned red, and for a long time, she cried and laughed. "Jason, you're going to give it to me, right? Guang remembers my favorite brands, my sizes, and my favorite styles. You love me so much." With shining eyes, she said sincerely, "Jason, I was wrong. I didn't love James. It's because you were too busy and not around for more than a year. James is just like you used to be, competitive, excellent, and always with me in every possible way." Is she laughing at me? Why does James have the right to compete with me? I missed you so much that I flirted with James. She bit her lower lip. You are the one who is sincere to me. I just realized now that I have always only liked you. James is just your substitute. I burst out laughing and couldn't help but cover my mouth and laugh out loud. Several people looked surprised. After all, I am usually a quiet and calm person and rarely lose my composure like this. I just find it ridiculous. A substitute, not around. Why could she portray her betrayal of me so casually? Accidentally? Lily was at a loss and said in a humble voice, "Jason, please don't be like this. I really love you." I stopped laughing and took off the diamond ring indifferently. "Sorry, I won't give it to you even if I sell it secondhand." Sophie immediately cursed. "Hey, you licker, you're still pretending." I frowned and said to Sophie, "Sophie, my name is Jason. Don't bark if you can't speak." Sophie was so angry that she pointed at me and yelled, "You!" ready to curse at me. I threatened, "What's the value of your previous papers? Are they worthless?" It's understandable that Sophie called me a bootlicker. In the past, when Lily was gentle and considerate, I would even help Sophie write her paper. She glared angrily, but kept silent. I passed them the ring to the cashier and said, "Excuse me, please sell it as a second-hand product for me at a low price so that the store can recycle it." I walked out of the jewelry store, and Lily followed me. For the first time, she begged me, "Jason, can we be together again?" "Jason, I've already said I'm sorry. I've already begged you. Why are you still doing this?" She held me, her big eyes filled with tears. "What do you want me to do to make peace with you?" I reached out and stroked her hair. Her eyes were filled with anticipation, surprise, and joy, and the corners of her mouth unconsciously curled up. I said softly and warmly, Jason, will never go back to my ex." The light in her eyes went out with a snap. After the farce that day, I seldom went to the laboratory. The research was on the right track, and I would just let Wang Yun keep an eye on it from now on. I mainly follow remotely. Chloe has also finished connecting with people for the project and plans to take a short break. The two of us took a rare break and made an appointment to have a meal together. During the meal, I received a phone call. "Hello, Mr. Xiao. I'm Xiao Du, the salesperson at Golden Bay. You paid the deposit a few months ago, and now the property is open for sale. Do you have time to come over and take a look?" Then I remembered that the project was basically about to be finalized at that time. I saw the introduction of Golden Bay and, on impulse, took the risk and paid the reservation money. This property is considered high-end in Hucheng. Chloe and I discussed and calculated it for a long time. It is very suitable in terms of living environment, sunshine, and price. I originally thought that I would take Lily there after I proposed to her. She would definitely like it because she could see the view of Lujiang River there. When I was in school, she always took me there to watch the sunset over the river. Under the orange sky, the river water was shimmering with golden light. She found it extremely romantic. I actually can understand why. Even if there is red clouds in the sky in the distance, it cannot cover up the turbidity of the river water. Just like my relationship with her, no matter how beautiful it seems to me on the surface, it is actually full of holes. I was about to refuse, but then I thought, I should have a home for myself. There's nothing wrong with that. Chloe accompanied me to the sales office. Chloe and I listened to the salesperson Xiao Du's introduction for a long time, and even wrote down some drafts to estimate future trends. Maybe I am in a good mood today, or maybe the early summer sun is shining brightly in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, and the shadows of the trees are swaying. The pale golden light cast a layer of light on the side of her face, and her clear eyes through the frameless glasses were both rigid and had a kind of intelligent tension. Her slender fingers quickly calculated the data I wanted on the white paper. Memory is linked to this moment in an instant. Wang Yun told me that I had gastric bleeding at the time, and the hospital called her. She was out of town at the time and drove over overnight, so she didn't happen to be in Hucheng. It was a magical moment, when I was completely free of an unequal relationship and happened to meet the right person. I felt very comfortable with her, and we were completely evenly matched. Under the sunshine, we both leaned on the chairs, smiled at each other, and chatted leisurely. feeling like a stream flowing in our hearts. Chloe said, Jason, you know, I've always liked smart people since I was a kid. You are the smart one without Lily. Jason, why are you here? Lily's voice interrupted my rare comfort. I turned around and saw Lily, Sophie, and James. Sophie probably still remembered the last time I choked her and asked, Lick, Jason, are you buying a house because you have successfully started a business? I frowned. He begged me to reconcile with him some time ago, but now he came to see the building with James? James looked very unhappy and said in disbelief, that project is still running. Where did all that money come from? I think it was Sister Chun who was looking at the house. A man who used to be similar to me. A man whose girlfriend was stolen by him. He actually bought a nice house for himself first. James was a man and broke down the defense. I was about to laugh when Sophie said, yes. Jason was so poor before that his father even asked him to borrow money. It was Lily who helped him. He only had 20,000 yuan. My dad came to me because he couldn't transfer the money. My scholarship was only 10,000 yuan, so I finally asked Lily for money. Sophie talked about this $10,000 over and over again for a long time. Even though I later returned it to Lily, it still felt like a thin and dense thorn, pricking me from time to time. Lily remained silent and didn't say a word. I continued quickly. First, I have to keep all the money I got back then. Secondly, I glanced at James. I am different from James. I have been with Lily for so many years, but I have never spent a penny of her money. I stretched my neck and raised my eyebrows. Finally, this is the house I want to buy. As a technical director of a company, isn't it normal for me to buy a house? You should have heard from Mr. Liu that my project is currently well received and profitable. Sophie hummed softly. Hey, this Licks the dog has really come a long way. I gave her a look and she fell silent. Salesman Xiao Du ran out holding the contract and said with a smile, Hey, Mr. Xia, this is your purchase contract. Take a look. James's face was extremely gloomy. At this time, Lily's parents also came. Her father was still muttering in contempt and mockery. You found a useless thing. This time I will let that thing see whether he can afford to marry my daughter of the one family. If he can't buy this house, forget it. James heard this and gritted his teeth. Lily's cheeks flushed. My heart is as calm as still water. When I just realized that I had a crush on Chloe, I completely fell out of love with Lily. She can't even raise her head in front of me now, and layers of pleasure are climbing up in her heart. I specifically told Xiao Du in front of her parents, just give me a discount now and the order will be placed immediately. As they stared in astonishment, I signed the contract and turned to Lily and said, Didn't you say that James was my stand-in? You're looking at the house with the stand-in when the original owner hasn't reconciled? Her face turned pale, and she explained with trembling lips. No, I didn't tell him today. He came here on his own. No, he contacted my parents on his own. I sneered. Do you have any shame? You want to deny everything? Are you incapable of self-determination? Then I turned around and left with Chloe. Behind them, the sound of Lily's parents arguing with James could be heard. Carefree. Not everything is smooth sailing. The data from the laboratory had large errors, and there was no progress. Wang Yin stayed up late for a long time and became anxious. I came back from a business trip in Jiangxing and stayed in the laboratory overnight. The demand for implementation results is urgent, and there is really no other way. After enduring for half a month, I became completely thin, and James would come to check on me from time to time. When I discovered that he was the first one to arrive every morning, I realized something was wrong. James is the boss's confidant. He is always sweet-mouthed and two-faced, and he has long been unwilling to do such hard work. Unless he is willing, or there is something that makes him come early. I installed a pinhole camera. Sure enough, he made subtle adjustments to the machine parameters every morning. In this kind of situation, you will hurt the enemy by 1,000 and lose 800 of your own money. If my commercialization fails, my supervisor won't get any money, and in the end the pressure will fall on him. According to Xiao Du, James and Lily's parents started yelling at each other at that time. Lily's parents kept scolding him. You poor bastard. You dare to steal someone else's wife when you can't even afford to buy an apartment. Don't you see what kind of person you are? He cursed back without caring about his image. Fuck you. You old bitch. You are such a snob. What kind of person is your daughter? Lily broke up with him on the spot. I guess he was angry and took his anger out on me. It's already good enough that I didn't settle the score with him. It's really unwise to provoke him. I gave the video to my instructor and said bluntly, Teacher Liu, we are now in a partnership, and I don't want this kind of shameful thing to appear in my project. If I sue him now, your entire team will lose their reputation, which is not worth it. Not long after, James was denied the opportunity to pursue a direct doctorate, and he even lost the chance for his supervisor to introduce him to a good job. I watched him kneeling in Teacher Liu's office for a long time, and he would squat there every day to look for Teacher Liu, but in the end he was kicked out by the security guards. It is easy to find a job in our major, but if you work in a research field, word-of-mouth background checks are still necessary. Obviously, he still has many setbacks ahead. But Sophie kept calling me and begged me for the first time. Jason, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have called you a suck-up before, but can you come and see Lily? She is Lily's true friend. I checked the experimental data at the end and said indifferently, Lily and I have no relationship now. Her voice was urgent. Jason, Lily hasn't eaten for the past few days. She and James haven't even been together officially. You have been together with Lily for 7 years. Don't mind these little episodes. Come and see how Lily is doing. Lily is not in a good physical and mental state right now. She keeps crying and calling your name. I still refused swiftly. I don't want to come and see it. Jason, you've been licking her for 7 years, and now that you've succeeded, you can just leave, right? Don't you think about how uncomfortable it will be for those who stay behind? I thought it was ridiculous and asked in return. You know I've been servile for 7 years, so why didn't she treat me better at any moment in the past 7 years? If she wakes up, I will run back like a dog again. She wants to be a dog bone, but I want to be a human being. Don't give her a chance to speak. Hang up the phone and block her. When Lily heard that I was about to leave Huching, she waited for me in the laboratory every day. If she couldn't wait, she would pester Wang Yun. Wang Yun couldn't stand being pestered anymore. Jiang Cheng's affairs were basically settled, and I went to see her for the last time. She was much thinner than last time, no longer as energetic and bright as before, but looked listless. As soon as she saw me, she grabbed me and begged, Jason, let's make peace, okay? I really know I was wrong. I love you. I was only annoyed with her and said indifferently, you just don't like the dog running away from you. Especially when the dog becomes more handsome, famous, and wealthy, you feel sad. You will feel that this should be yours. You are wrong, Lily. I had no dignity when I was with you. People without dignity cannot grow. I actually have to thank you for leaving me. She clutched my collar tightly with both hands, tears streaming down her cheeks, sobbing, Jason, don't do this, don't do this. I must have loved you all these years. I sneered, love? What kind of love? The pleasure of being summoned and dismissed at will. Lily shook her head in disbelief, looked at me pitifully, and cried, no, Jason, I really love you. The salesperson at Guangmeifang told me that you paid the deposit several months ago. You always knew that I liked the view of the Lujiang River next to Jinhai Bay. You ordered it just for me, didn't you? Just like that diamond ring. I didn't deny that not only the diamond ring and the house, but also all my plans were for her. But so what? Her eyes sparkled. She rushed into my arms and hugged me tightly, saying, Jason, I love you. I really love you. I like you to pick me up every morning, and I like you to have me in every future you plan. Lily said eagerly, I finally know what true love is and what I like. She looked up at me, her big eyes so lively, her voice trembling. Jason, I know you are disappointed in me, but give me a chance, okay? I pulled her out of my arms and said coldly, word by word, Guang Lily, people are discouraged and all disappointments are not worth mentioning. You and I are forever unequal, forever waiting, forever ridiculed. Lily, I'm not your parent. I won't forgive those who betray me over and over again. Lily froze. What are you talking about? James told me that you and him have been together for a long time. He was furious with me and deliberately mocked me as a cuckold in front of me. It turned out that she had been flirting with him when she was on a business trip to their laboratory during her postgraduate studies, and even, this is my last bottom line, in her eyes, am I really a person without dignity? Am I really such a rotten person who is so humble for love that I have to accept her physical affair with someone else? I showed extreme disgust and gnashed my teeth. When I was hit and broke my bones and called you, you were in bed with him in the hotel. Don't listen to his nonsense. She denied it in panic and even wanted to hug me and kiss me. I pulled her away forcefully and firmly, speaking vicious words in a calm and gentle tone. You are really disgusting, Lily. Jason, have no bottom line in front of you. I cherish you so much that I dare not touch you, but you disgust me like this. My past 7 years have been disgusting because of you. I never said anything harsh to her, and she froze. I am completely, utterly bored with her. The only sadness is the helplessness towards my years of passionate youth. Don't show up in front of me again. Your choice to cheat on him has already pushed us into an abyss. There is no turning back. I didn't even bother to say goodbye, as I left her and slowly walked out of the lab, only to hear her hysterical crying behind me. Lily in the greenhouse may never recover, or she may return to normal after a while. But what does it have to do with me? The project here has come to a temporary end, and I will go to Jiangsheng to continue expanding the project. The plane trees by the roadside have turned golden yellow and are falling in the wind, making a rustling sound as one walks on the road. At this time, Chloe was waiting for me in the car. My dream was once shattered and blown away by the wind. A new dream is about to be pieced together. There is a wilderness and a majestic vastness rising with the wind.